Hello again, this is the Mass Crusader, and I welcome all of you to Free Software Fridays, where I, the Mass Crusader, go over some free software that I find useful. I give it a rating. I guess last week I didn't really do a rating system, but maybe I'll come up with that in a future episode. But I'm going to go over another piece of free software that I absolutely love. I use it everywhere I go. I take it with me on thumb drives. I install it on every computer that when somebody brings me a computer that I need to clean or fix or whatever, I always install this program. It's called CCleaner. It adds two little options to your recycle bin: to open CCleaner or to run CCleaner. And what CCleaner does, it actually stands for like crap cleaner or something like that. The link is in the description below if you want to download the software. But I'll show you what it does. If you don't already use CCleaner, you need to get it. It runs on all versions of Windows. It is free. It isn't even ad supported. It is just a free, awesome piece of software. So when you open CCleaner, you're automatically brought up to this screen, and I'll shrink it down a little bit because my server that I'm running isn't quite 1280 by 720. It's 1280 by 768 or something like that. All right, so what it does is it gives you some options to clean your computer. First is the cleaner part of it. You can choose different settings for Internet Explorer, Windows Explorer, the system. It's got some advanced settings, and then you can go into specific applications and clean those systems as well. And what this does is it finds all of the temporary files that you really don't need, and it gets rid of them. So in Windows, you can delete all this fun stuff, the index.dat files, which are kind of hard to delete otherwise. You can remove autocomplete from Internet Explorer. You can delete all your saved passwords. These are things you can actually remove from within Internet Explorer if you would like, but you can also do everything at once. Some of the things I like to do under Advanced, I get rid of the old prefetch data because this server just sits there and it really does nothing. When I clean out the prefetch, it speeds it up just a little bit because after I prefetch, I'll do a defrag and it seems to work pretty well. I don't really care about window size and location cache. Sometimes that can bother some people. You can wipe the free space, and I'll get to the wiping algorithms in just a minute. You can delete custom files and folders. I'll tell you where you can configure those in just a minute. But it can also go out, like if you have Firefox installed, Firefox will be one of the options here, and you can remove all the stuff. Just like Google Chrome is here. You can clean out the temporary files for Java, whatever. And then when you click Analyze, it'll go out and it'll look at all these different temporary file locations on your computer. This is my server. I don't expect there to be a lot of them because I don't usually hang out on my server. I have a regular desktop computer for that. My server just sits there and hosts my files across the network. But it'll go through and it's found 41 gigs of file. Holy cow. Oh, it's because I've got tons of garbage in the recycle bin. So anyways, it's found 41 gigs of garbage to remove from this computer. Now, I'm not going to clean it yet because I got to show some other settings. So that's kind of cool. Another thing you can do with this software is you can clean the registry. And what this registry cleaner will do, it's the second tab down. It allows you to scan the registry for problems. And it'll look through the registry and it'll find things that are missing, that are configured to run. It'll look for things that you've used but you don't really need anymore. It'll look for all these obsolete stuff. And they're things you don't need to worry about. But it does speed up your registry a little bit. Sometimes if you've removed a lot of programs, it'll leave those programs that you undelete will leave a whole bunch of garbage in your registry that you're not going to want to keep around. And if you install a bunch of stuff and then you uninstall a bunch of stuff, it'll actually it'll make it so that your registry runs a little bit slower. So in the registry cleaner part, it'll find everything. And like I said, this is my server. I don't really run stuff on here. It has a reference to the installer for VMware, which I do run for my servers. I use PuTTY to access the virtual machines running because I run Linux on them. And it's just little stuff. But if you've uninstalled applications, the registry will keep record of all the shared files for those applications, and that can get really garbled. So you can remove them here. You just select the ones you want to remove. You can use this checkbox to unselect and select them all. You can choose which ones you want to select, really. And then you click Fix Selected Issues, and it will give you an option to back up the registry. And what this does is it creates a .reg file of all these changes that you're removing, so that after you reboot, if something's really broken and hosed, you can re-merge it back into the registry to fix the problem. I don't really care, so I'm going to say no. And then you can fix selected issues. It gives you a little explanation of what you're fixing right here, and you can fix them one at a time, or you can just fix all of them at once and close, and then you can scan for issues again. It may find 2 or 3 more. And you just keep doing that until it says there are no issues found, and then you're golden. Then the third one is the Tools menu. Now, I use this all the time. First of all, under Uninstall, it gives you access to all the installers on your computer. Now, all of these installers should be available under the Windows Control Panel in the Programs and Features settings, where you have these lists. And now let's see if I can pull it over here. You'll see that they are identical. Are they identical all the way down? They're identical all the way down. However, there are some things, such as add-ons that Windows adds in. Some applications will create an uninstaller, but it won't give you access in the add remove programs in Windows. So what I like about this is I can go in here and I can delete any of these, and I can run the uninstaller, or I can rename the entry. So like Tversity is cool. I'll do Silverlight. We'll rename that one. So we can rename the issue to Microsoft Silverlight, and then it will rename it the way you want it. Or if you install a program on your computer that you don't want anybody to uninstall, you like it, it's great, you don't want to ever remove it, you can actually highlight that. I don't want to remove the disk defrag, so you can actually remove the actual uninstaller from the thing. Now you can still dig deep and find the uninstaller, but it makes it easier to protect your stuff. Startup, what it does, sometimes when you install applications, it'll create things that automatically launch immediately, and you don't really want those. Like, I don't have any good examples right now, but like, Java, here we go. When you install Java on your computer, it creates a task that sits there and sleeps that says, to go check for updates. Now, like here, this is Avast. This is my antivirus. I will do a Free Software Friday coming up in the future on Avast. That's great. But if you don't want it to launch, you can just disable it, and it won't launch when you log into the computer. And if it's disabled and you really want to, you can enable it. If you don't want something to run at all, you can click the delete button, and it'll remove the command to launch it immediately from the list. This list can get really long, and especially when you install Microsoft Office, you can have a lot of stuff in that list that you don't want to launch, and you can remove those so that they don't chew up all your RAM, and you're sitting there with a computer that has absolutely nothing running. So yeah, that's a good one. System Restore. This allows you to look at the system restore points on the disk, and you can delete different restore points from the disk. So if you have one and you don't want to ever roll back to it, or you want to make the changes persistent so you can't roll back to it, you can actually delete it. And then Drive Wiper is a feature they recently added where it can actually overwrite your hard drive completely. You can wipe just the free space. So like if you've defragged the disk and you want to get rid of any remnant data in the free space, because when you delete a file or when you delete multiple files, all it does is it removes the pointer to that file in a location on the hard drive called the file allocation table, or the FAT table. And it actually leaves the data there. That's why undeleters and unpartitioners can access some of those thing. So if you've got like a hard drive that has all of your financial information for the last 10 years on it, and you're getting ready to get rid of the hard drive because you're getting rid of the computer, just formatting the drive or deleting the partition is not enough to get rid of that data. The data still exists on the computer. What you need to do is you need to wipe it. And with the drive wiper, you can do that. I'm not going to wipe any of my drives because I have very important files and stuff on them. But in order to wipe a drive, you just check the drive, choose the way you want it to wipe. If you want to wipe just the free space, it'll leave all the data that's currently visible on the hard drive alone. But anything that's written into the free space will get cleaned off. Or you can just wipe the entire drive, and it'll wipe it completely. And it uses several different algorithms. You can use the simple one pass, and that just does just one single pass over. 3 passes is the Department of Defense algorithm. What they do is the first pass writes zeros to the entire drive. The second pass writes ones to the entire drive. And then the third pass does random data across the entire drive. That's the one that the Department of Defense uses. The complex overwrite, the 7 passes, is what the NSA uses. They do the same thing. The first 6 passes are ones and zeros overlapping back and forth, and then the 7th pass is a random set of characters. And then the very complex does 35 passes, which means that any data on there will be completely destroyed. So your banking and financial information systems on your accessed hard drives will be completely taken care of. Then finally, down in the options is how you configure the computer or the program. So settings, choose the language, whether you want to run it when the computer starts, to add the options to recycling bin context menu. If normal deletion, this is the check for automatic updates. This is where you choose how you want it to wipe. So if you want it to use the Department of Defense or the NSA, or even very complex, you're never getting your data back algorithms, you can. I'll put it on advanced. So that way, every time I run it, all of the temporary files will be removed, but they will be securely removed. So any data that could be like financial information or personal information, social security, whatever, of mine that is in those temporary files will be completely and securely removed. That way, if my hard drive is ever compromised, my identity cannot be stolen. And then you can choose what drives you want to wipe the free space on. And what that does is that keeps your free space clean, so that even if you delete a file, if I deleted a Quicken file that had all my bank information, it would actually remove the data of that file so that it couldn't be stolen by somebody else. You can also go into your computer and you can choose which cookies you want to keep, and it won't delete any of those. I don't have any real cookies here that I want to save, so I will just want to get rid of them all. You can include different files and folders. So if you want to include a specific folder to always get removed, so like you want to clean out your download folder, you can actually choose I want to include a folder, and I'll go to see users, my profile, and I'll choose my downloads. So now every time I run it, it'll clean out my downloads folder. You can also exclude, so files that you'd want to save that normally get wiped out. So if you want to save certain registry keys, or you want to save a certain file that you want to make sure it never gets deleted, you can specify that too. And then in the advanced, it's just a couple little things about how to run the program. Then you can click on About, and you can learn about Piriform.com, the guys who created the program. So this program is awesome. I would highly recommend it, and I'm going to go ahead and run to get rid of my 41 gigs of stuff that was lost. And this will, because I set it to do it securely, will do it securely. Again, this has been Free Software Friday. This is CCleaner, one of the nicest applications for keeping your system clean. It's full of awesome features and everything, and I would highly recommend using it. So thanks for visiting. This is Master Crusader signing off, and we'll see you next week with another Free Software Friday.